Hey everybody, it says we're live. Usually go about 5 after, but that's usually to wait on Susie to be able to refresh her coffee after her 7 o'clock stream. So we don't need to do that this evening. So how's everybody doing? Let's see who's in here. I think I've already said hello to the couple that were in here before we went live. But let's see, Trash Cat, Jan and Travels, and Joel, Uncle Smiley. He's new, so welcome. It's probably going to be just me. Skipper let me know that he wouldn't be able to be here, and no Whip's on vacation in Florida, so I didn't hear from him, but I assumed he wouldn't be able to be here. Uh, and Susie is actually not back from her minis event that she went to. You know, she does the miniatures that, hey, Davo, Dragon Lair. She does the dragon lair. She does the miniatures, and she shows us those. And she's recently been doing the fish tanks with the resin and the fish suspended in them and stuff. And I saw she posted on Facebook, I think today, asking if anybody had experience with certain printers. Hey, Jody P, welcome. Uh, and I don't know if anybody was able to answer her. I haven't had any experience with those 3D printers. But she's not back from that unless she comes in late. So it'll be you guys and me, and I may not go the whole hour. We'll see how it goes. I'm still having a lot of shoulder pain and neck pain, and it seems like it hurts me worse when I just have to sit still. So, but can't keep eyes on it all the time. My goodness, that was my little black dog Cherry that got after Poppy, my new little foster dog. Yeah, you want him to see you, Poppy? She said, "That's me. I'm Poppy." She said, "I'm Poppy. That's my Uncle Bob." Yeah, but Poppy. I don't know if this had happened. No, it hadn't happened last week because went to the doctor Monday, the vet, to see that if she was spayed or not because she'd had everything else done, but it didn't say she was spayed, and we couldn't find like a spay tattoo. And actually, when he began to examine her, he said, "Oh, she's pretty swollen back there." He used the medical terms because he knows I'm an old nurse. But hey, Paul. But I said, "Yeah, I noticed that last night. I was looking at her to, see. I've been watching to see if she would come in heat." And he touched a tissue, white tissue, to her uh, hearts, and a drop of blood was on it. So that answered it. She hadn't been spayed. She's in heat. So I've got a little dog running around here that won't wear. They call them bitches britches. They call them diapers too, but I like the old name for them, bitches britches. Which that's what they are. You know, a female dog is a bitch, and they're bitches britches. So anyway, any excuse to talk ugly, right? So she's a little moody, I'm sure, and hormonal, and she's got her spay scheduled for the 12th of December. So she's just hanging out here, socializing more with me, and making my two little dogs, the sisters, more and more jealous. We were just at the vet this weekend. My boy's got kennel cough from boarding. I said, "Oh my goodness, say it ain't so." Well, did they have a current Bordetella vaccine? I'm always interested as a nurse, but also from just having run a shelter for the last 18 years. But also for my dogs, I know that's not a real strong vaccine, and my vet, well, both of my vets recommend getting it every 6 months because it's such a weak vaccine, and I do keep it up, but I never board mine, and I never take them in for grooming. They just go to the vet when they need to go for that. Well, that sucks. All the dogs are supposed to have the vaccine, I thought, before they board somewhere, but maybe not. Oh, and you guys look at this. There's Marie. That's Tisha. Remember old Tisha? Look at that. She looks a lot younger. We've got all of that old, thick, big old 1 inch long hairs off of her, and she looks like a puppy. Yeah, she looks like a puppy now. She looks a lot thinner. Hey, Lori. Hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing good. And I'm hoping that our mutual friend leaves you as a mod, as a longtime mod, but we'll see. Sometimes I think it's better I don't suggest. I always stay up to date with their vaccines, but apparently kennel cough has been very rampant in my area. Well, and my understanding of it, Jody, is that it's not, and I may be wrong, but it's kind of like flu. It's not the same all the time, and there can be several strains of it going around at the same time as well. So, but I could be wrong on that, but that was my old understanding of that. So, vaccines are not 100% anyway on that. And like I said, the vet says they're weak, so every 6 months. So, Sam is late. See, I wouldn't have even noticed that, Sam. I thought you were the first one in here. Well, I know it was something important. Yeah, okay, Jody. Well, it probably you just it can't be 100%. So you're probably just your boys were probably the unlucky ones. I hope they're doing well because some of that stuff can be really nasty, especially with senior dogs and puppies. It's kind of like parvo. It can be nasty sometimes. And some dogs throw it off without even having to take antibiotics. I've had that happen before too at the shelter. Not my dogs. I always want antibiotics. Always, always. Well, Sam, is everything okay? Now that you brought attention to yourself coming in late? I hope so. Whew, Sunday is my day that I put everything off till I have to do it. Then Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. So just got in and put groceries away, and I stayed ahead of the game. I gave Floyd a couple of the hot, sweet, chili flavored Doritos. I think that's what it is. Something sweet chili. Hot sweet chili, yeah. Dorito flavor. I love that. Ever heard of a cat developing? I have heard of that. From what I know, and I'm not a veterinarian or a vet tech, but I'm old, so I hear things and experience things. But it's a lot more common in dogs, but cats can have asthma. They sure can. Why do you have a cat with asthma? We caught it really early. Mine are young. One sounds like a goose. Oh, that hurts. The other sounds like a horse. Can't breathe, but they're on antibiotics and very lively. Well, 6 months. Oh, well, okay. They're not little puppies, so yeah, they'll be all right. As long as they're eating and drinking, but you know that. As long as they're eating and drinking. Hey, Bruiser. Almost slipped by me there. Looked away for a second. You got a cat that's getting asthma or got asthma, Dragon Lair? We'll just do a vet clinic this evening. What kind of dogs are yours, Jody? I think I know, but I've forgotten. Maybe I don't know. Oh, she's typing that um, report update on the ARC. Finally, everything has been sold and everything's out, and we did do the closing. That was last week, though. Um, Wednesday, not this week, not last week. So everything's done, and so of course had two adoption events at the end of the week: Friday at PetSense and Saturday at Petco. So still not rested much from all that, and now my house is literally upside down. I can barely get in my double garage with my truck. So that's going to be number two on my list. My first list is to clear the top little kitchen area out there, or breakfast area, I guess it's called, attached to the kitchen. That's where things that I couldn't keep in the garage I brought on inside. But I've got to get some organization done here. Bob almost forgot my pet scan is January 21st. Well, good luck. I should be thinking about you. January 21st. No, a YouTuber I watch has a cat that has it. I had never heard of it. The only way that, what I remember is that when I was little, I had asthma really bad. And I grew out of it, as they say. And the doctors, like they do back then, recommended I don't think they do anymore because it's uh, not a thing, but recommended that my mom get me a Chihuahua, a little dog like a Chihuahua. So she got herself a Chihuahua, and of course my asthma improved over time. And I never really had inhalers or anything like that. But sometimes I'd be up at the in the country with my grandmother's, and they sleep with the windows open, no screens, anything. This was in the early middle '60s of last century, and I couldn't wheeze. I'd wake up wheezing, or couldn't breathe, and they'd have to call my mother on the old rotary phone to come and get me. And I'd go home and wheeze. It would scare my grandmother. I have two mutts. Copper is, oh, my neighbor's dog was Copper across the road. She passed on a few years ago. It was a brindle consisting of Rottweiler, German Shepherd, Bull Mastiff, Bulldog, Pit Bull, and Australian Shepherd. I bet she's beautiful. Or he. And Frisco is a brindle pit full of Staffy. 5% lab. Those are some pretty dogs. I have to go see if you've got them posted. I always love to figure out what the genetics are. Oh, you have asthma? Yeah, I haven't had it really since then, and I don't have any residual damage or anything from it. But like I was saying, I never had to do inhalers. I don't even know if they were a thing back then, and we were so poor. We went like to the health department if we had something wrong. I don't think you could go to the emergency room back then. I've had asthma since I was little. Sweeteners. Ah, that surprises me about you, Sam. Um, they used to speculate that a whole lot more was going on with asthma besides just the respiratory component of that. And of course, when I was in nursing school in the 70s of last century, they beat that to death about the psychosocial impact of asthma and all that stuff. Of course, there was very little body image except the wheezing and all that, but back then they were really big on all that stuff. I don't know if they are now in training young nurses, but it used to be a lot worse when I was younger. Yeah, I never had an inhaler, and I wasn't bothered with it. After a while, it just wasn't a thing anymore. The doctor would tell people that the dog would take the asthma, and so I think there was like a psychosomatic component to that. Is what that was about, but I'm not sure that's what it was. There's Miss Terry. She said, "Somebody come and get this Poppy. She's horny. She's humping on all of us. I saw you humping on her, young lady. I saw you humping on her. I did. I had to tell y'all to stop." Yeah, benzodrine inhaler. Or they may start calling asthma an autoimmune disease. I think you uh, are onto something there, Dragon Lair. Prescription methyl. Give you prescription what? Methyl. I mean, they didn't give me anything. I did have like really bad allergies to grass and stuff like that too. Of course, when you're a kid, you play GI Joe and stuff, and I would be in the grass and cut grass and all that, but I would break out like in the anicube, the bend of my arm and behind my knees, those areas. And I had calamine lotion my mother would rub on me. Now it's got Caladril, it's got Benadryl in it, and I keep that on hand, but I rarely need that. But I still do get allergic rashes to grass and things. Benzodrine inhaler. I missed out on that. That must have been after my time. Well, that's a weird effect. Look at that. The wall's moving. The bookcase is moving. I remember getting really bad hay fever especially to grass and pollen. Yeah, I'd be okay, and then I'd get in stuff really thick or run through a field of flowers or, something like that where there was lots of pollen and it would trigger it. But just like, walking to school and back, I'd be fine. I don't have any respiratory issues. Now that I think about it, I'm really lucky. I smoked for, like 40 years, about that. I hate calamine lotion. That stuff stinks and feels weird. It does. I watch anything that comes on TikTok, anything, and it'll scroll you through things too. And I can't remember this guy's name now, but he does professional, um, not just makeup, but costume, stuff. I'm trying to special effects and that kind of stuff. But he does every 2 or 3 days. He'll do live. He'll have a live, and he'll do himself. He'll put stuff on. But I noticed he put on a coat or a base, I guess you'd call it, of calamine all over his face and made it pink, and then put the whatever on over that. They call you calamine for some reason. Was that your nickname in nursery school, calamine? Jesus. Well, I've decided I'm glad there's some people here that know something about fish, because I made a decision today. It just came to me kind of like an epiphany. Hey, what the hell? Poppy? What are you tearing up? Girl, I'm going to put you in 4-point restraints. I am. Um, Brings back memories. Chicken pox. Oh, yeah, my older sister, Kathy, that I'm close to, she had really bad chicken pox, and I remember her having that on. She's got a scar, like a pock mark on her forehead, not between her eyes. Not real noticeable, but to her it is. And that's from a scar from chicken pox. But anyway, I was thinking about the tank, and I may have been looking at stuff on YouTube or something, but anyway, it just came to me. And I'm not wanting to do like a cold tank per se, but I do want to do a native fish tank. I've never done that, with one short exception when I was a kid. But that's what this tank's perfect for. I need to take out the things that look like corals, the fake corals and stuff, and put in some real plants, some native plants, in the streams and creeks and even the lake. There's some really shallow areas I know about, some flats where we've gone canoeing and bass fishing, and lots of raccoon tails, all kinds of native plants in there. And I bet they haven't died back much yet. It's not that cool here yet. But yeah, I'm going to get some native fish. I've even been reading today about what you have to do to be able to collect them in Tennessee and Georgia. See, I'm about 20 minutes drive down the interstate to Chattanooga, but don't go into Chattanooga, turn left and go into Georgia. So I can collect there just as easy as, or easier than I can collect here by going over where my people live over that way to those farms and stuff. And then North Carolina is right on past there, maybe 30 minutes. So I have like 3 states to pick from that are very accessible. So, but I looked at Tennessee and Georgia. You do have to have a fishing license. Tennessee's a little bit more rigid than Georgia, but you have to collect for bait. They have to be being collected for bait. What you collect them with and how many you collect, the size, all of that matters. Like the size of the net, the length of a seine, that kind of thing, cast nets, all of that stuff. But so I'm going to sit down and take some notes. Georgia seems to be a little bit more relaxed. I just don't know where the good places to collect there are. But you don't have to have a license to keep them in a private aquarium. You don't, or a permit. You don't have to do that. So that's good. The thing I'm concerned about. Just be careful what natives you put together. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Dragon Lair. So I've been looking like at the pumpkin seed. That's where I was going just then. Like the pumpkin seed and the green, not green bluegills. Maybe they are green bluegills. I've always liked crappie, white and black crappie too, but they'll tear up um, inverts and stuff. Uh, but it's not a spawning season, so I won't have the benefit of seeing those colors. Hey, Daniel, welcome in, welcome in. An initiative tank would be really cool, something I've always wanted to do with myself. Yeah, I'm really more interested in having like one or two main fish. Uh, and there are some native killifish too, of course. I was looking at that here in Tennessee. Tennessee has more native, and that was on the NANFA, North American Native Fish Association, because that covers, all of the states, or the North American states anyway. They say that Tennessee has more natives than any other state. Some say 370, and because they're still classifying some, maybe up to 390 or 392 species. That's a lot of fish, a lot of different fish. And then Kentucky and Virginia are right behind Tennessee, it said. So lots to pick from. A lot of them I'd never seen or heard from. But I'm thinking about some ground dwellers, darters and stuff like that, that don't have air bladders. So, they sit around on the bottom or like on a ledge. So those are cool. I definitely want some inverts, maybe some crayfish and some freshwater native snails. But I want a couple of main fish that won't eat all of that stuff or won't feel like they need to eat it if I'm feeding them enough. So I've got all winter to ease into it and see. Talking about the native fish tank, Daniel. Ironically quiet. Well, that's because when I came in, I was saying that I beat him to it, and when I was putting groceries away and I put my coffee on, I went ahead and opened those hot, sweet, chili flavored Doritos and ate a couple, but I always save a corner off and give it to Floyd, so he had like 3 corners, and I think that satisfied him and probably made him sleepy. He's not in here. So he's either in the reptile room where it's a warmer, or he's back in our bathroom, his bathroom, where his big perches over my 2 sinks in there. It is quiet, you're right, since those 2 dogs settled down. They've had to contend with me. I said the DOG word. I always have some little cute girl in my lap. Always, always. And if I tell her to get down, the sister will jump up. Watch. Bluegill will kill each other off too. Yeah, I know they're distant cousins, not close, but distant cousins of South American cichlids, as you know. So they're feisty and they're very hardy, and I can attest to them being hardy because once I went fishing with somebody. It wasn't one of my stepdads, but it was a neighbor. I think a man named Jim Blair. He had blown his face off accidentally, or maybe not accidentally. So he had a lot of. I mean, but we were used to him. But it was a mess. His face was. It had healed years ago. But anyway, he's a real nice guy, redheaded guy. So I went fishing with him some when I was, I don't know, 10 or 12, something like that. And I brought a little bluegill home, and I put it in one of my tanks that I think didn't have anything in it, or maybe I just let it eat the stuff. And of course, Mildred gave me hell because she had to be in control of even my fish hobby. But it rained and rained and rained, and we have, like drainage gullies and ditches, and there was a softball field behind my house, but behind our apartment. We lived in the housing project. but there was a big gully that washed down through there when it rained, so she told me to go put it in that water and it would go down to the creek, which sounded good, so I put it in. But then the next day when we were out there playing ball, I noticed that that gully water went through like a hurricane fence, and it couldn't get through there, and so it was there dead. It survived all that for me to kill it like that. Crappies are fun to keep. We kept one when I was little, loved feeding it minnows. Yeah, I've always thought they were pretty fish too. So we'll see what I end up with. And I remember Father Fish talking, I don't know if it was on here or on a live stream he was doing, and I asked, but anyway, he was talking about a good way to get stock for your native tanks is to go to the bait shops and see what they've got. And that a lot of times they'll have oddities besides what they're selling. Alabama has more by some counts. Yeah, they said Alabama was right in there too. It's like 4 states, all in this area, the southeast. Florida, surprisingly, wasn't that high. And they mentioned that they have so many exotics now that their count wouldn't be as high as it is. Oh, is Whip in here? Hey, let's get tanked, Whip. I don't see you backstage. You must have just popped in. I was shocked that you're on vacation in Florida and rather be doing that than coming up here. Been talking about setting up a native fish tank. Hey, Cheryl, but I'm wanting to do it as an actual biotope. The plants, the substrate, everything I can do. Gradually switching this tank out. I probably just end up leaving the rocks pretty much, but I do want to keep my rocks. I can grab my laptop and see about logging in. Yeah, come on in. You're not entirely sober? Well, forget it. If you're not drunk, forget it then. Just forget it. You gotta be drunk to get in this one. What? Let's see. Been partying hard. I bet he has, or hardly partying. I can't wait to see what Susie did at her miniature event today. I haven't had a chance to look since earlier today to see if Bob, are you on the Native Fish Keepers page? I don't think so. I looked and at the ones that I'm members of, and there's way too many that I need to cut some back on. Some I haven't been on in years, but I didn't see that I was. Is that the name of it? Native Fish Keepers? If you are, send me the link, please, Patrick, because there's a lot of good info on there. Oh, look at that. They're multiplying. They're multiplying. There's that worm. That little worm girl. Oh, but Terry's in first place. They're so funny. They try to be as close to me as they can be, and they'll push each other out of the way. You're the closest. You're on Dad's shoulder. You're sitting way down there on my lap. But you won't be long. You'll be right up here, won't you? I know how you girls are. They're so competitive. Here she comes. They're so competitive. There's no room. It's just Terry and then me right there. There's no place to go, silly girl. Don't fall. Sit down. She's coming though. She's going to make room. Can you believe that? Oh, I'm still on here. I'm still back here. You girls are a mess. All right. You made her slide down, didn't you? I just posted like 5 minutes ago. Oh, cool. All right. Thanks, Dragon Lair. I'm betting at least 90 degrees. I think I caught up. You girls get me behind. Mini Qs. Yeah, mini Qs. Etsy. I sent her like an ad that came up on TikTok, just a screenshot of this resin that has different fish and a whale, I think, in it, and it has a light affixed to the top corner of it. It's kind of cool, and you can change the intensity and the color of the light. So I sent her that. Just thinking it might give her some ideas, or not. Just another way somebody's doing them and selling them. I got my blue pinoys from Aqua Balls. Yep, Trash Cat, it is. What you're looking for. It was one of Priscilla's art pictures of the angelfish that got me interested in the blues. And if I had any hope of moving, I would show you guys one of them. Alec Kumanoff in an auction we had a couple of months ago bought one of them, and I decided that I wanted him to have the same size, so I sent him the larger one. So I've still got the small one, but when I saw how pretty that just the drawing of them was, I had to have them. Autocorrect's killing me. It always gets me with my accent. Always showing the links. Sam, he hadn't said it in a long time because I think he hadn't seen you or heard you talk or anything for a while. But yesterday, I think, yeah, yesterday, he started in Huawei, 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 and it was 45 minutes if it was a minute. Huawei, 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 Huawei. Turkish Green Angel last year. You know, I had bought several of those from a place I went over, Middle Tennessee, over there by near where Whip lives, or somewhere over that way. But anyway, oh yeah, Alec. There's Alec. He's just like Beetlejuice. Say Alec, and there he is. But it's beautiful, isn't it, Alec? I saw on, speaking of Facebook, I got a notification that Priscilla had changed the name of her Facebook art page, but I don't remember from Priscilla MK to what. It might be MK Art. I don't know. Yeah, he's towing the line for you, that's for sure. Alec, Alec. He is unusually quiet, isn't he? If the power went off or the electric went off, it would be dead quiet in here. You know, I'm out in the woods and no houses close by. Those rats are so funny, their big butts are hanging out of their hammock. And they're asleep. Mine never did do well. And I divided them and, you know, put some in two different tanks. And one group went a lot faster than the other, but it took maybe a year for the last two or three. They just wasted. And this was a guy that breeds them and supplies some of the local shops. Girls, I can't even breathe. Seriously. Watch how fast they react. All right, let's go. Get in. Worm, you're supposed to go fast like your sister. Get your butt out of my mouth. Jesus. 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 Look at the dog. Poor old Milo's fell out. There she is. Oh, they're a job, let me tell you. Let me tell you. But the hounds are all gone, so that's a big help. That is a big help. I'm going to be doing some more research and watching videos. There are actually YouTube videos about native fish in Georgia and Tennessee, and I think I'm going to focus on Georgia and Tennessee. Maybe North Carolina if there's anything different. That's more mountainous over there for sure. More creeks. There are lakes though. Daniken in 20 minutes. I think we'll make it another 20 minutes. I don't know why I hit that. I think when I was trying to wriggle up out of this chair, I hit that. We're going to have to get some music going in here. I've got to do an agenda for our first ARC board meeting that won't be in our own building for like 18 years. We're going to meet at Panera. Before that, way back in the day, 25, 20 years ago, we would meet at, like if one of us had a church that was close central, in town, and it was like an activity room. We've done that. We've met at the library. We've met at the museum at Five Points. Just different places, but we're going to try Panera because that's where I would meet with the realtor, Cheryl. Somebody came back. Imagine that. And there's, up in Panera, at least the one here, there's a quieter section, like over to the area away from the registers and stuff, and all the people go back for the more the tables and booths and bathrooms and utensils and all that are further back in the main part of the store, the room. So we're going to try that. There's usually just like 6 of us, so that's what I'm expecting. 6 or 7, 20-ish minutes. In 20 minutes. But it says we've been going 37 minutes, so I must have started a minute early. Let me see if, no, Whip was back there. Sometimes it lets you know, and sometimes it doesn't. At least my phone, it doesn't. The only angels I have now are just a couple of nut angels that I picked out because I guess one will be called a sunset angel. If you wanted to say that it's not a pure whatever. But I have a couple in the 180. Thank you, Patrick. I see you just sent me that. North American Nanfa. I was fortunate to get to hear that guy speak um, at the Atlanta Club, who said is not us. Now you got piqued my interest. It says is not us. Oh, maybe you're saying you're Alabama, whatever. I'll look at it since I'm out of here. Hey, Kat, how are you doing? You've never eaten at Panera? Well, they have some good things. They're not cheap, but they're not expensive. They're a good middle upper range of stuff. You won't get out of there for less than 14, 15 bucks for a sandwich. But what I like is they have like half a sandwich and a cup of soup, those kind of things. And their stuff is good and it's filling. And they have really good desserts. They have good coffees, and that's not their specialty, but they're just a good shop, good place. We used to have a cash donation jar there when this one first opened years ago for the ARC. We had like 30 jars, and I would always try to get somebody to help me with that route to go around once a week besides working full time at Blue Cross. And anyway, but we did good on change from those places, but we took them out when we couldn't keep up with them finally. Wasn't sure I wanted angels, but with all the variants, we found some. We both. What are somebody you'll know that can remember names? The redbacks. Um, I do have a couple of those, but I think they're both females. There's a name that doesn't say redback, but anyway. And I noticed Dan's Fish has a new group of those, or did 2 or 3 weeks ago. Maybe all gone now, but they looked really good as juveniles. Michael Wolf spoke at the club Saturday. Yeah. Oh, I started to say last year, not this year, but last year when Ed and I came to an auction and we hung out, and Ginger Graves came or met us there. I can't remember now. I think she met us down there from Nashville. Um, we, Jesus, the NANFA guy, the national guy, was their speaker at the Atlanta club. And of course, a lot of us were from Tennessee and asked a lot of Tennessee questions, which he was happy to answer. But he, it let him make the point even stronger that Georgia's surrounded by so many different states, like Alabama, as is Alabama. Um, Both of them actually do have beaches as well. But just that how the fish don't realize the state lines, so they cross over, and you can find them that's more regional than state, of course. So it was really good. I taped the whole thing, but I've never had the nerve to post it. I think he saw me doing it. I just didn't ask him. I just did it. You know how I am. Dog social, love it. We're going to the park tomorrow, then we can have a dog social event the next day. I've been taken since I had those hounds, and I didn't get to go this past week because of the final closing and just so much going on still. You think it's over, and it's not over. Something else comes up to sell a business, especially with animals. But didn't get to go to the park, and I've been going 2 or 3 afternoons for 2 or 3 hours and just loving it. But the last 2 times I met Elaine that adopted Bandit. Y'all remember Bandit? And he's got just a home made in heaven, and she loves him. And she's got 2 little older dogs from the Ark, and he just loves it because he loves little dogs. But the last 2 times we went, people have gotten after whoever I had in Bandit, but it would be their dog that caused the problem. I mean, I would go through it, but it was their dog. It wasn't Bandit or, like the hound I had one time. JR, he's gone. He got a dream home, by the way. He went to a guy that had a beagle, like a 5-year-old beagle, and the size of a beagle. And JR's twice that tall, so JR loved that. But they got to spend time together before I let him go and all that. Got F3 Rio Nene albino dantums. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad I fancy. Wow. Albino dantums. I don't know that I've ever seen those in Panoico Spell Angels from Angels Plus. I haven't looked at them in a long time. But yeah, I miss going to the park. And Elaine said that she's got appointments every day this coming week, and she didn't know if she can take Bandit. But I started taking my dogs. Terry likes to go, don't you, girl? She likes to go. It's hard for her to get off her daddy long enough to get down and run around, but I keep telling her, go play, go play. And she will. She's a good girl. Oh, yeah, I don't have any idea why these dogs like me, but they do, so I'm not going to rock the boat. They do. I'm just lucky. I'm just lucky. Look at that old worm begging to come up here. Look at Worm. She can't stand it. She'll be up here. I wish I could meet Amy. Not you so much, Sam. Just your dog. I used to tell Ed, he'd always talk about my truck, and Ed didn't hang out with me for me. He hangs out with me for my truck. Worm, I'm trying to read the chat. I'm trying to read it. Yeah, he was adopted by one of our board members, Elaine, and she helped close up and all that. And actually, the computer and printer and all this stuff sitting here blocking my fish tank that doesn't have any fish in it. Also, another tank that I need to do something with. I've got several like that around. That's a 33 long, but I'm really thinking about dividing up some of my small colubrids, or my red rat snakes. I can't think of the common breeder name for them. I love watching her videos, Amy. But it's so much fun to take them because I don't have a fenced yard. I've got a fenced in yard area, like a big garden, like a perennial garden off the deck. But I don't trust that. It's just a picket fence. Yazzie can go right through it without even touching his little ears on the sides. He's so little. But it's great to see them run and meet other dogs. And, you know, I'll tell you one of those incidents real quick. This lady came in and she was afraid, and we said she's afraid, for her dog. You recognize people. We went through the same thing when we started taking our dogs there. But she came in and she had a little poodle, like a toy poodle, a tiny one. And you could tell it was a senior. Its eyes were cloudy and all that. And she had it on the little pink leash with the rhinestones and, all that, like we've all done. But anyway, she came in, and of course all the dogs, not just the 5 I had and the 1 Elaine had, ran over to her, but all the dogs, they wanted to see the new dog, and it was scared and it couldn't get away because she wouldn't pick it up or take it off its leash. And we're like, let it off the leash, let it off the leash. And she's like, well, they're trying to get it. And I'm like, but you're making it worse. Let the dog go. They won't hurt it. These are all sweet dogs. They're friendly dogs. And so it relaxed in a little bit, and then it came over. The benches are maybe, I don't know, 50 yards, 40, 50 yards apart, and there's several of them around this big. There's 2 parks. There's one for small dogs and one for big, and we go to the small dog one. And when she came in asking, are your dogs 30 pounds or under? And JR is like 28 pounds, but Bandit's more like 38. And we said, yeah. And I said, here we go, Karen. But then Elaine's like, no, she's just worried about her little dog. But so anyway, the dog relaxed, and Bandit would never hurt anybody, especially she's hanging onto my arm and scratching and climbing just my arm like a bat or something. You ain't right, girl. But so the dogs started coming over and playing where we were and playing with the dogs. And so it would run and get them to chase it. And Bandit loves that. I mean, he won't hurt them. He won't, do anything. He just loves for them to dart at him and then run and chase him. So that's all they were doing. And she came running over screaming, and she said, your dog, and it wasn't even my dog. She had already adopted him. Your dog attacked my dog. I said, no, they're just playing. Your dog's not yelping. It's still over there playing. Look. And then she asked Elaine, she said, ma'am, did you see that? His dog attacked my dog. And she said, that's my dog, and it did not attack your dog. And I finally I said, well, you just don't understand dogs. You don't know anything about dogs. That's how they play. And she said, no, I don't. And I said, well, what's worse is you won't listen, and you're creating situations that don't exist. And you're making the dogs, nervous and scaring them and scaring your dog. They're just trying to play. So she left, and she came over and took our one of those. She took our video and all that. And Terry jumped up and blocked my face, didn't he? She said, I got you, Pop. So, and that just kind of takes the wind out of your sails, And then we had another one happen after that was actually worse than that, but it was just as stupid. It's the people. It's not the dogs. It's the people. It's always the people. You look great as a minion, too. Who was a minion? Oh, y'all are looking at, okay. Blue tutu. Trash Cat, are you saving those boxes for me? Did you see my comment on your post? She's been sick, and she had kept up with how many tissues, 2 whole boxes in less than 2 days, I think. And of course, when I saw them, yes, Trash Cat, the ARC is very much in operation. We just don't. It was a building that we would all have shifts that we would go to, and some people would do 1-2 hour shifts on Monday, but it had come down to Bob going 6 or 8 hours, 6 days a week. And I'm retired. I've been retired since I was 59, and I'm turning 69 this month. Ain't nobody got time for that. I need to be out doing stuff before I fall dead. But anyway, COVID was part of it, but the utilities were the big thing, and all the stuff, averaged out, insurance and just all the stuff, utilities and all that stuff came up to about 800 a month. It wouldn't be that every month, but if you averaged it over 12 months, and we didn't have it, and I was having to pay that a lot, and even had my water turned off once. I thought, oh, I'll pay the ARC because we got to have water for those animals, and I can just draw up water. Well, it's a good thing I did because they don't play when they say you've got how many days. They mean it. So I had to get mine turned back on, but I kept the ARCs on. But anyway, it was just too much. It was running two households and all that. So what we did is we took the animals back to our homes. That's how the ARC started out. And because back in the day we would have to stand outside when it was hot or outside when it was cold, now it's better. We're allowed to come inside places and that kind of thing to do adoptions. But we just said, screw this. I did one day. It was Michelle Groover. She's still with us. I said, let's go, let's get out of here. And we left Petco and went to Tractor Supply and finished our day there. And I started looking, and it took me 6 months to find something that was perfect for us. We could afford, and it was, very little renovation. And so that's how we bought the ARC house. And it's been our building for 5 or 6 years. Me. Get down, girls. I can't take it. Get down. Come on. You think these girls sleeping on me would be enough. Uh, Me and another volunteer, Peggy Morrow, paid it off because had interest and stuff on it, and it got down to 20,000. She said it's a shame to keep paying the interest, and she said I'll pay half if you will. And I said, well, don't look a gift horse, so I did. And I pulled it out of my IRA and paid it. So we've had it paid off. So everything we got out of it is ours. It even paid our taxes for next year and all that. We bought it for 85. And we sold it. We asked for 200, and we got 189.9. And the check I got from them was 175 after all the closing fees and all that. We had to do a termite inspection and treatment and all that stuff. We still walked with 175,000. So, but you have to pay capital gains tax on that. So anything above 85,000, we have to pay taxes on. The difference in 175 and 85. So we do have to pay taxes on that next year. But it's just sitting there. But yeah, it was hard trash cat to get them all out and get them in places. And the reason Bandit got adopted there is she was fostering him. And she just saw what an awesome dog he is, and nobody was giving him a chance. And I think the first evening that she woke up and he was sleeping beside her on the couch, I think that's what did it. 5 minutes. So can I borrow a few thousand? Well, let me ask. Let's see. Oh, and I also have not just that little dog, but I have Tish. I showed you at the start. Tish, they want to borrow your money. Can they have some of your money? That money belongs to these dogs and cats. I've got 2 art cats here too. I'll see, Dragon Lair. They kind of like me, so I'll see if I can get Tish to write you a check. She said, you're going on with something silly. You're right. I know you are. Well, I know you. I am too. But it is their money. Quite literally, it's their money. I'm the president of the board, and now I'm called the event coordinator since there's not technically a shelter. Um, I'm the resource person for the foster people. Some of them know a lot more about animals than I do, so it's, I'm just available. And I have the money. I have access to the money, so I have to approve the vets and that kind of stuff. So we don't want to spend it all up. That's right. Thinking about doing like a couple of small scholarships for a couple of the local rescues that are struggling. Because I remember how the ARC was back when I joined it in 99, I think. Yep, 99. Anyway. Tish, they're after your money. She said, I'm used to these young people trying to get my money. I call her Marie because somebody called her Tisha Marie. And I like Marie, so she's always Marie to me. She's a biter, but she didn't bother muffin at the ground. Oh, you stepped right on Milo. Stepped on his head. He was sleeping. But anyway, they're starting to wake up now. It's not so quiet. I'm going to take them for a walk. It is a lot of work, Kat, and if you knew, you probably wouldn't know it by just me slouching around and stuff, but things have to be clean. I mean, the minimum. I'm not walking around in hair and stuff like that. So every day, just like at the Ark, my floors get done every day. And sometimes I touch them up in the evening so it won't be so bad the next morning. Big Family Rescue, and I've heard of them. Well, our last board meeting of the year is Tuesday, and that's on my agenda. And I wanted to figure out a way that's fair for people to nominate people for them or for people to apply. And I mean, that's sinful. I mean, that's ludicrous to sit on $175,000. Well, it's not that much, but taxes after that, probably what, 150, 140, whatever it is. That's crazy to sit on that when there's so many animals that could, use the vet care, not get put down because they've got a broken leg and they're stray, stuff like that. There's no way I can sit on that. Yep. So anyway, I haven't told Worm knows I'm getting it up, and she's standing on me. Wormy, Wormy, she's a worm. She's a worm. Oh. We have 2 non-kill shelters in Chico. Okay. Well, see, one of them here is and one isn't. Don't let me go over Kenny. It's got to be time. Anyway, guys, the link's up there for Kenny, so head on over there. And thanks for hanging out with me. We didn't talk about fish. We did a little bit, didn't we? And I appreciate the advice. Some of you gave me good advice, so I'm going to try to do like a part 2 on that when my cohorts are back. Thank you all. And I'm thinking about you, Joel, for the 21st, I think you said. You know I had the stroke and I can't remember numbers, days, dates, months, nothing. All right. Love you guys. Take care. Say bye. Say bye, Wormy. Bye, guys.